Very interesting. Thank you very much, Sally.
Confirmation this morning from the United States that Iran has conducted airstrikes against Islamic State targets in eastern Iraq, close to its border. Tehran has denied claims, though, that the raids were coordinated with the Americans.
Well, today, the US Secretary of State John Kerry will host a meeting with foreign ministers from more than 60 countries to discuss the fight against the militants.
Well, with us now is Dr. Evan Lawrence, a counter-terrorism and security specialist. Good morning. We'll come to the meeting in Brussels in just a moment, but first, this news overnight about Iran conducting one, possibly more airstrikes against IS targets. What do you make of that?
I think that was something that we were kind of hoping would happen. We've kind of wanted Iran to take a little bit of a leadership in the area and start working with their partners in the Middle East much better. So I think that as the West, this is a good sign for us.
And they're saying points to point out that there's no sort of discussions with the United States. There's not sort of a coordinated effort.
No, there won't be coordinated efforts by the United States, but they're certainly coordinating with the Iraqi government, who is coordinating with the United States. So it's kind of a monkey
chain
in the middle.
Of communication.
Yeah, a little bit.
Doesn't this add to sort of the war by proxy jigsaw, if you like, in the sense that Iran is now coming in against, and on the other side you have support from sources in, say, Saudi Arabia and Qatar for Islamic State?
Yeah, I mean, I think that having Iran come in is starting to see that the coalition of the Middle East countries coming together to fight ISIS, which is a good thing and a thing that we as the West really want to happen because it means less work for us and more of a stable structure in the Middle East.
And how key is Turkey in the future, and what happens, do you think?
Well, I think Turkey is always going to be kind of an X factor because they are such a close tie with the United States and such a good ally that they're always going to be seen as being a Western ally.
Yeah.
So their role in the Middle East that they play is a moderate one, and one that I think is going to grow as this kind of threat.
Presumably this meeting then of the 60 foreign ministers will take stock of where we are, and where, in your view, are we in the struggle against IS?
Well, I think we're kind of at a stalemate at the moment. They're not gaining any more ground, and we've taken back a little bit of ground from them, but we still haven't regained all of the ground that we lost to them. The bombings and targeted killings and things like that have stopped for the most part. So now we're kind of just waiting to see whether they're going to gain international capabilities or not, and whether they're going to be a legitimate threat in the region.
Let's move it, if we could, to here in the UK. Last month, David Cameron announcing British jihadists who travel could be prevented from coming back to the UK.
Right.
How much impact will that have, do you think?
I think it's one piece in the puzzle of dealing with IS and dealing with IS here in the UK. I think we're looking at putting in place a whole barrage of laws and policies to stop radicalization and stop people from going out to fight with IS, but also going out on humanitarian grounds as well, because of all of the problems that we've seen in the past with that. That I think we're kind of in a point now where the government isn't really sure what's going to be the most effective thing, so they're kind of putting in a whole line of different things to see what they can do. And
out there on the ground, what are the options for the international community?
Well, I think the international community at the moment is conducting the bombing raids and things like that. But you're also seeing most of the Western allies sending out security consultants and things like that to train police, to train military, things like that, so that they're much more effective against ISIS.
Okay, Evan Lawrence, thanks very much for coming to talk to us this morning.